Hello, everybody. I'm Evan Kamikow, and this is the Season 12 premiere of The Toss-Up. Each week, join myself and an expert line panel dissect the latest sports news from some of the nation's most elite college programs here in Bloomington to the biggest stadiums and stages around the world. This week, we are diving in figuratively and literally on the IU swim and dive teams. Stick around because we have a great show coming up on The Toss-Up. Welcome to The Toss-Up. Stay tuned for later in the show when I sit down with IU men's swimmer Brendan Burns to chat about this season in play. Do you know your Hoosier? But right now we have our very own IUSTV Sports swim and dive reporter Samantha Condra and the IDS swim and dive reporter Mara Balinsky. I almost messed up there. On The Toss-Up. Girls, welcome so much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Sam, let's start with you. Let's dive right into it. Literally and figuratively. I've said that like 3 times already, and it's just you just have to go with it. What is the strength of this swim and dive program?
Both sides, men's and women's, have a lot of strength. Obviously, top 15 programs in the country. The men's is top 5. But for both sides, I'm going to go event-wise. Distance freestyle is really where they excel, and that includes Mariah Dinnigan, who is on the women's team, and she hasn't raced the last two meets, and it's really shown in the scores that she hasn't raced. And on the men's side, they went 1, 2, 3, 4 against Louisville in the 1,000 freestyle. So as event-wise goes, that's the strongest part. But as far as just team in general, depth is really what is so important about both teams. And swimming is a numbers game, so the more people you have that can place in even second and third over just first, that's really what is going to make you win meets.
Mara, what do you see as this team, as Samantha said, they're able to win meets? What makes them win these meets?
Well, as the men's swim and dive reporter, the team is just they're 8-0, and they continuously are improving on their times as well as their scores. And I think the biggest thing is that, just like Samantha was saying, that they have athletes that are able to win every single event and get times that are consistently improving.
Mm-hmm. And why is it so important to win every single event? Because swimming and diving, it's such a smaller known sport. Why do people have such a hard time really learning about this? Because it is so exciting and so fun.
Well, as someone who's new to the sport myself, I think the biggest thing is that there's a lot of variables to understanding the sport, understanding the times, understanding how you learn how to swim, how you learn how to dive, understanding the scores of diving. And it's just really that aspect that I think a lot of people don't understand, but it's really fun to learn once you start getting into it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about the team now. Samantha, who has so far this season's been your MVP? Because there are a lot of big names on this team.
Yeah, like you mentioned, there's a lot of big names, Brendan Burns being one of them that joined our show today. But my MVP is going to be freshman Rafael Miroslav, just because in the Purdue meet, he won all 3 individual events he's in, and he has just stepped up in a lot of ways for this men's team and has won just about every event he has swam in. And like you mentioned, winning events is a big deal. It adds a lot of points to the end result, and he's a big reason why this team is undefeated.
Mm-hmm. Mara, who's your MVP?
For me, it would be freshman Carson Tyler, who's a diver, and so he's new to the team, and he has consistently improved. He's won 3 Big Ten awards this year already, and I think that he is really going to be a figure that kind of resembles Andrew Capobianco, and it's just really exciting to see what he's been able to do so far.
Mm-hmm. And Capobianco is an Olympian. I mean, there are so many names, and that's just the men's side. Who would be your women's MVP?
The women's is really hard for me because they have struggled so much with injuries and illnesses. They've struggled with COVID, and they've just struggled a lot with getting people in the pool. And like I mentioned, it's a numbers game, so not being able to get those swimmers in the pool is really detrimental to the final score. It's a big reason why they fell to Louisville and why they've dropped in the rankings a little bit. But I think I'm going to go with a sister duo here for MVP. So 2 people winning MVP. But they have both just every time I've looked at the results, they have gone in the top 3 in every single event just about that they have swam, and they've stepped up in big ways with filling holes in events that they don't have enough swimmers to swim in. So Coach Ray Lewis has a lot of faith in putting them in those events.
All right, let's move on. What matchups as the season continues to progress are you looking forward to? Mara, we'll start with you.
Well, the season is about to end, their regular season. Purdue was an amazing meet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what these teams can do in the Big Ten championships, and hopefully they're able to really push that to the NCAA tournament later on in the season. I think those will be 2 exciting meets. Michigan is another really good team in the Big Ten, and so to see Michigan and Indiana kind of go head-to-head again in the Big Ten should be fun.
Samantha, anything to add?
Yeah, they face off against Evansville for their final regular season meet this week, and they so that'll be the final regular season. They'll go into Big Tens, and the men's team they're the favorites to win the Big Ten championship. So that meet will be huge to see what they can do at that level. And for the women's, they've already faced Ohio State, who they lost to. So numbers-wise, it doesn't really look like a Big Ten championship, but possibly top 3. Michigan is ranked 3rd in the nation on the women's side. So like Mara mentioned, it's both teams are going to really look good at Big Ten championships.
So let's jump into the Big Ten championships and even at the NCAA regionals in general. How far of a run do you see the men and the women making? Mara, we'll start with you.
In the Big Tens, I really think that we can go far. Last year we came in 2nd or 3rd, and that was a little bit of a bummer. And so the Big Tens will definitely be a test to see what we can do. And then moving on from there, whatever happens with the Big Tens, I think that that's really where you'll see who will excel in the NCAA tournament later on in the season.
Samantha.
Yeah, I've already talked about Big Ten, so I'll talk a little bit more about the NCAA championship meet, which is huge. And I talked to head coach Ray Lewis about it, and he says they haven't won a national championship since the 1970s, so he wants to put a stop to that. He wants them to win. He said that the men's team has an outside chance of doing it. It's really hard to compete with the likes of Texas, who has so many Olympians, and California and Michigan, like we mentioned. And the women's team, they're just trying to focus on, I think, specifically Big Tens and maybe getting some individual wins at NCAA championships, which is just as important, getting individual titles in events. I know that Brendan Burns has a really good shot at getting one in the backstroke.
Last question I'll ask you guys before we go to break. What has been your favorite part so far about covering this swim and dive team? Samantha, we'll start with you.
I think my favorite part is that it doesn't get a lot of coverage, and so I feel like me covering a sport that has such a big history at Indiana and has so many Olympians, over 100 Olympians that have gone to this school. So it's a big deal. Number 5 team in the country on the men's side and number 13 on the women's side, and a lot of people don't know that because it's not covered a lot. And so I think that's my favorite part, is that I get to cover a team that doesn't get a lot of coverage at all.
Mara?
And similar to Sam, the opportunity as like a freshman reporter to cover a sport with so much history is so fun. And just the opportunity to be able to be like, I'm covering swim and dive is just really, really great, especially when the teams are doing so well.
And you could get such great access to some of these smaller teams, which is why it makes it so fun, because you get to know the athletes on a personal level as well. Samantha, Mara, stick around, because coming up after the break, I sit down with IU swim and diver Brendan Burns. Then Sam and Mara play Know Your Hoosier. We'll be right back. Damn, I was looking at the wrong camera for a second. Welcome back. Now joining the show is IU men's swimmer Brendan Burns. Brendan, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, of course. I mean, first of all, you're always welcome on the toss-up. We love having athletes on. First of all, congrats on such a great season. What has the season meant to you so far?
Thank you. It's been great this year. You know, last year was really disappointing with everything that's been going on, but this year kind of somewhat getting back to a sense of normalcy has been awesome. We had a really great training block in the fall, and we've had some really great meets up to this point, including some really great recent victories over Louisville and Purdue. And it's just been a really great, I'd say it's been momentous.
And what as the season keeps going, what are you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
I'm looking forward to just seeing our hard work pay off at the end of the season. We've put in a lot of really great work, like I said, in the first half of the season, and now we're just hunkering down on the details, and I'm just looking forward to when we can start lifting trophies at the end of the season.
And we cannot wait to cover and be there for every moment of it. But let's get into what this interview is about. It's Do You Know Your Hoosier? You're our Hoosier of the day. So I'm going to ask you 7 questions. Have fun with the answers, and our panelists will try to guess your answers. You ready?
All right, let's go.
All right, first one. What is your major here at IU?
My major is, I'm a double major in management and human resources at the School of Public and Environmental Affairs.
Next question. When did you first start swimming? When did you get into it?
I first started swimming when I was 8 years old.
What teammate of yours has the best personality?
The best personality, I think freshman Joe Ratty has the best personality.
A freshman. What's his personality like?
He is equal parts sweetheart and menace, which really just makes for a great practice teammate. You know, he's really uplifting, and you just never know what's going to come out of that guy's mouth, and he's just always a character. Just love having him on the team.
Characters are, they always make things better. What is, I got to ask you this because everyone has this. In high school when I played sports, I had one. What's your pregame hype song? My
pregame hype song? That rotates. I'd say right now I've been getting into, Antonio Brown has recently inspired me. So I think Super Gremlin, or whatever that song is by, I'm sorry, I can't think of the name, by Kodak Black, his recent song. It's been kind of inspiring me recently.
Here's a question back to the team. If you had to pick 2 teammates of yours to be stuck on a deserted island with, who would they be?
I think I'd have to go with my roommates, Gavin White and Corey Gambardella. Gavin is a really great guy. He would definitely calm me down. I'd be pretty freaked out if we were stuck on a deserted island. And then Corey is just the fixer of problems. So he would absolutely find a way to get us off the island in way less time than I think is possible. So
where would you work in the mix? Where would you help getting off the island? What's your strengths if you're stuck on an island?
I'm kind of a body. Corey's the ideas, and he's like the planner. He has the actual skills. I'm just the direction follower. I'm not really good with the mechanical side of things, but that's Corey's strength. And
what, in Bloomington, it's such a great town. There's so many good restaurants. What's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant in Bloomington, I'd probably have to go with Janko's Little Zagreb.
Solid choice.
The classic steakhouse. They're just some phenomenal steaks there. The spicy meatballs, the whole experience is just very, very Bloomington. I really like it.
Yeah. Follow-up question to that: Knicks or Buffaloes? It's a big debate among a lot of people.
Knicks or Buffaloes? Well, man, that is really hard. I think I'm gonna have to go with Knicks. So I just really, I like their tater tots. Their wings are, I'd say, almost as good as Buffaloes. I think Buffaloes has better wings, but I think the experience is better at Knicks.
Last question to you: if you had to describe your whole IU career to this moment in one word, what would it be and why?
I'd definitely say unexpected, both good and bad. Unexpected bad for pretty obvious reasons. I don't need to beat a dead horse about the pandemic. But unexpected good, I think a lot of great things have happened while I was here. Well, I've been here at Indiana. I've met a lot of fantastic people, learned a lot about myself, and thus far accomplished a lot of things I'm really proud of. So I think, yeah.
Well, you've been great in the pool, and we cannot wait to continue to follow you guys the rest of the season. Brendan, thank you so much for joining me today. That's going to do it. We'll be right back. We are back with Samantha, Condra, and Mara Balinsky, and it is time to play Do You Know Your Hoosier? All right, so I asked Brendan Burns 7 questions. And the thing is, the catch of this game is your answers, I'm asking you the same questions, but your answers have to be what Brendan said to get a point. Whoever finishes with the most points, like a normal game, wins. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I don't know.
You look nervous. By the way,
yeah,
there's a long, illustrious list of champions that includes Justin Berger, Emma Watson, as well as Colin Wright from the IDS. So you got some IDS.
Big stakes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. First question that I asked Brendan. What year, how old was he when he started swimming? Mara, we'll start with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to go with 3.
You think he started swimming at 3? That's a little young to get in a pool, but Samantha.
With as good as he is, I'm going to guess around 6.
6 was closer. The correct answer is 8. He started swimming when he was 8 years old. 3 years old. I don't even. Did you?
We
learn
would get
how to
in the
swim at
pool,
3?
yeah.
Can you get in a pool?
Yeah,
swim at
infants.
3?
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I mean, like if you use
Start 'em young.
the little tube thing.
I didn't learn till I was
yeah.
5.
I don't even think I learned when I was like 6. So that was a good
no,
answer
no.
by you. Here
Already
we go.
bad.
Next question. It's could be worth up to 2 points because he's double majoring. What is Brendan's 2 majors? Samantha.
Okay, I heard he was a double major, but I have no idea what it is. I think that one of them is on the business track, but I don't. I'm gonna go finance.
Okay, so you have finance, Mara.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a different school. I'm thinking like something involving human something. I'm gonna go with, I don't know, public health.
Human was on the right track. The answers are management and human resources. He's a double major in that.
Okay.
So
That's pretty cool.
I won't give you the point yet.
Okay.
If it comes down to it, I do have a tiebreaker question. But that was close. That was the right track. I wouldn't have got that either. Next one. Which teammate of his has the best personality? He picked 2 here, so there's 2 answers. Mara.
I only need to do one though,
Only
right?
need 1.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Tomer Frankel.
Okay. Samantha.
I'm gonna go with Raphael Miroslav.
He said Joe, his roommate. So neither was correct. All right, we'll keep moving.
it.
These are tough because, I mean, you only know them so well.
Yeah.
So, and you're trying to match their answers. I couldn't imagine doing it. I definitely couldn't. Here we go. Next question. What is Brennan's pregame hype song?
This is Indiana.
This is Indiana. That's a good one because I get hyped to that song sometimes too. But
What about
Samantha?
Indiana or Indiana? The fight song.
I'm going to go. Here's what Brennan said. That would have been my guess too.
Jack and Diane.
That's a good one.
That's not a bad one.
He's not from Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Super Gremlin by Kodak Black.
Okay.
I'm not really
I
sure.
wouldn't have
I've never
guessed
really
that.
heard of
I've
a
never-
lot of
never
Kodak
heard
Black,
that song, so
and neither have I. So I'm just as I'd be just as confused as you are. All right, if he had to be stuck with 2 teammates on a deserted island, who would they be? Samantha.
So I have to guess both. of
2
them.
teammates.
Okay, well,
1
I'm gonna
point
go
if you
with-
get 1 right.
I'm going with his roommate again. And then the other one, I'm going to go with Bruno Blasevic.
Okay, I'm gonna go with roommate Joe, and then I'm gonna stick with Tomer Frankel.
No, that's incorrect.
both of
Gavin
them
White
guys?
and Corey D were the
He
correct
doesn't want to be with
answers.
his roommate.
Well, I actually messed up. Gavin and Corey are his roommates. That's on me. Joe is not one of his roommates.
Oh.
I will take the blame on that. I messed this segment up. God, it's fine. We've done this worse. Next question. Let's move on. Now more of a B-Town based question. What is Brendan's favorite restaurant in town?
Okay, either Buffalo's or Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, Buffalo's or Buffalo Wild Wings. A lot of Buffalo in that one answer.
I'm going to go Yogi's.
Yogi's. All right, I'll give you. He gave me 2. You didn't get the first one. I'll give you the second one, but neither of the answers were correct. For your second shot.
Oh, we get another
You're getting
shot?
a second shot at this. What is your answer?
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's not Yogi's, it's not Buffalo's, and it's not Buffalo Wild Wings.
Nick's?
I'll tell you, that's a good guess, but you'll have to wait and see. Mara.
Oh my gosh. Is it a sit-down restaurant?
Yes.
BJ's? I don't.
The correct answer that he originally gave was Janko's, but when I asked him if he liked Buffalo's or Nick's, Samantha, you're going to get a point because he said Nick's.
Oh my gosh.
So-
No, I was
so
gonna
just-
guess. Oh, I should have guessed that. Okay.
So
That's
just
everyone's
like
favorite
that,
restaurant.
which is funny because I personally like Buffalo's better. I think I'm not a big Knicks fan. I don't know about you guys, but what do you think? Buffalo's or Knicks? Mara, we'll
Well,
start
I've
with
only
you on
gone
this
to
one.
one either time.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like Buffalo's like environment a little bit better.
I made the crucial mistake of getting pizza at Nick's, which Dr. Galen Clavio told me that was a really bad idea. So I
I've
have
done
to
it
go
too, though.
back and try it again. Personally, Buffalo's, I've been there way too many times. So.
But Nick's Sink the Biz fries are one of my favorite
Yes,
fries in town.
yes.
So
Great
Samantha,
fries.
you lead 1-0. The last question. If Brennan had to describe his IU career in one word, what would it be? Samantha, we'll start with you.
Influential.
Influential. Mara.
I'm gonna go with a funny one. Swimmingly.
Swimmingly. That's a decent guess because I wouldn't have guessed what he said, but his answer was unexpected.
Okay.
Oh,
Being
that's
that
good.
it's with COVID and everything,
Yeah.
it's been an unexpected journey, but a really fun one. Samantha, Mara. Unfortunately for
Okay.
Mara, Samantha's gonna win this one.
With
if
one
you want,
point?
1 point. The final
Yay!
score was 1-0, the lowest
Let's go.
scoring. Do you know
Like
your
soccer.
Hoosier of all time? And we've only done this 4
That's
times.
embarrassing.
But,
Okay.
you know, Emma's taking victory laps. Any speech, anything you want to say to celebrate your victory?
I know my Hoosiers.
She knows her Hoosiers because she got 1 question right. Amara, Samantha,
Exactly.
thank you so much for coming on the show. That's going to do it for the show this week. Be sure to continue the discussion and follow along with us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports. We're always looking for ways to improve the show, so feel free to give any suggestions and ask any questions you might have via social media. With that, there's one thing left to do, so toss it up, find out if we'll catch it, and I just dropped that, and we'll see you next week.